And it's the end of the era for hockey at the Minnesota Fairgrounds. The Lee and Rose Warner Coliseum announced they would quit making ice and no longer hold section playoff games. The Star Tribune calls them the funkiest joint in high school hockey, and as the site of over 40 years of hockey history, many memories will go with them.
At this point in time, I wouldn't say that it's in our plans to refurbish the facility. We're looking at costs of about $1.2 to $1.5 million to replace the floor and the refrigeration system. And in the meantime, we would also, our boards, our Zamboni, all of our other equipment is also getting very old. And so we'd probably be looking at $1.7 to $2 million for a complete renovation of our facility. We've worked through this thing for the last 2 or 3 years. It's been a very, very difficult decision for us. I mean, the Coliseum Ice Arena is the favorite in the area, and our staff that works here, I mean, this is a very, very difficult decision for all of us involved. Our rink right now it's 40 years old. We have a direct refrigeration system that has steel piping that runs in the concrete about every 3 inches, the entire length of the ice arena floor. And that steel tubing is 40 years old, encased in the concrete. The concrete is starting to crack and scale. There's moisture that's going down through the cracks into the piping. And we just feel to be proactive and to be kind of ahead of some major issues that it was the right decision to make at this point in time, and to give all of our clients enough advance notice so that they can move to another facility. The Coliseum was built in 1949 and opened for the 1950 State Fair. It's had 2 names. The original building that stood on this site was the Hippodrome, and that Hippodrome name carried through to this building. But when we put the ice in 1975, Hippodrome stands for the home of horses. So we felt that a proper name change would take place at that time, and that's when we came up with the State Fair Coliseum.
And when they came here, St. Thomas came here. I actually worked the first game in this building in 1975. St. Thomas and Haviland played a game here at the end of the year, and they both liked it so much it became their home rink the next year.
What's the largest crowd that you've seen here at the Coliseum, disregarding the fire marshal?
Oh, well, the one we always talk about is the year Columbia Heights got in the section final. They played Cloquet with Reggie Miracle, and they were standing here all the way down to within about maybe 10 feet of the penalty box. Dick was doing the PA that day, and I was doing the clock, and you couldn't hear yourself in this building. And there's been a couple other ones, obviously Hill Murray and White Bear have had a couple of memorable ones. In a couple of years, I remember one Saturday afternoon here that Roseville played Duluth East on a Saturday afternoon, a 2 o'clock game, and it was at 1:30. The fire marshal just said, "That's it, you're done, you're finished," and the place was just packed. It was just wonderful here. So obviously when it's not full like on a Como Park game or some of those other ones, it's sometimes like playing in the Grand Canyon. But when it's full, like it will be for section games, and certainly when they get to the finals here Friday night, the place just rocks. They say, geez, they always kind of like this building. It's kind of quirky. It's a little different with all that width, between where we're standing and the stands. And goalies sometimes lose the puck against that white. That's happened a couple times. Guys who shot it from center ice and the goalie never saw it and it went in. So it's funny. There's some schools that have had great success here, and there's some schools like South St. Paul and Cloquet that hate the place. Cloquet hates the place. They were here twice. The first time they were here, Corey Mellon broke his ankle. The second time they were here, they lost to Columbia Heights. They never want to see this place again.
In the 30-plus years you've been doing games here, who are some of the favorite players that you've enjoyed watching?
Well, I got to see him for about 3 shifts, but Corey Mellon was fun to watch. Boy, that little bugger, he could really move. I think, Jerry, some of my favorite memories was back in the North Suburban days when they'd have North Suburban doubleheaders here on Saturday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturday nights, and when Ramsey and Kellogg had those great clubs. And when I first started here, when Whitey Oster still coached and Kellogg still had great teams, that first couple of years with Olseth and Sauer and those guys, they were just wonderful. And then Mountsview came along with the McClanahans and that undefeated team. I still remember section semi here at Mounds. You got the year they were undefeated. They almost didn't get out of here in the first round because Duluth Denfeld dang near beat Duluth Cathedral. I mean, almost beat them in the first round. So those are the ones you're going to remember the most. Of those speedsters, the guys who could just fly. And the semis are often where you get the great upsets. That year that Columbia Heights came to the tournament, Irondale nearly took them out in the first round. They were ahead 3-2. I still remember going to the third period, and you see the Columbia Heights guys, and they all kind of go, oh man, was that close? There's usually something this time of year, and the building hasn't changed much in the 40 years.
Our facility is an independent facility. We're not a community rink. We try to provide service to this area and to as many of clients as we can, but we don't have that direct connection with a local entity. So our rink's a little bit different than most. We plan on keeping the Coliseum open for many, many years. We're negotiating with quite a few different clients at this point in time, looking at different options for us for the future, like trade shows, like little mini conventions, small sporting events, cheerleading competitions, roller derby, motorcycle events, like arena cross. We're looking at a lot of different options. So yeah, we'll still be in business and be able to provide the facility to the community, hopefully for years to come.